Sweet. Hi. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So great to have you guys here once again. In the last video, you guys would have seen where I completed the assembly of the rod and pistons. So I have officially started building the K24, but I'm going to be doing every single thing that involves building the K24 into like a series. And I'm gonna put that in the K24 build up playlist for you guys so you can watch it all at once. But my plan is, the idea that I have is that once I have completely assembled the K24 and it's pretty much ready to be dropped into the RSX, I'm going to make that one big long how-to video that is a step-by-step guide on how to pretty much build my exact same block. If you guys really just wanted to copy every single thing that I did, it would cover everything. So even if you didn't have a sleeved block like I do, you don't have to go that extreme to get a decent high, horsepower K-series engine. This guide will also work for like a K20. So I mean, really, it would work for a number of different K-series. It could work for a K20A3, A2, Z1, K24A1, K24A2, and a number of other K-series engines. But like I said, if you wanted to build my exact same engine, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. So this is going to be technically part of that, but what I wanted to discuss today is going to be kind of small in comparison to everything else that's going on, but I believe this is an important step. Today I was actually planning on going to the junkyard at some point, but it's just a little bit too cold and it's been raining just a little bit too much for me to want to get out of the house and go do that. I've also just got other things I need to get done around the house today as well. So I'm planning on going maybe this weekend when it's supposed to be a little bit warmer, sunnier, that sort of thing, because I'm going to be picking up a few things and I'm hopefully going to be able to take you guys along with me. So now that you guys are kind of caught up to speed, today's topic, we're going to be talking about the oil squirters that come in the K24 that I have. So in one of the previous videos that I uploaded, when I went and met up with my buddy TJ, before I went and met up with him, I put the old oil squirters and the nuts that, or the bolts that hold the squirters down, that have the little oil passageways, I put them into a cup here full of Super Clean. So did Super Clean clean them? Yeah, really good. I don't know how well the GoPro is actually going to do this. It's not like a macro lens or anything like that, but you can see all the little particles, I hope. Yeah, can you guys see all the little oil particles and just crap that was stuck inside of them? Yeah, Super Clean did an awesome job of cleaning them up. I don't know how many miles were on that K24 when I got it. And I really don't care to find out. If I were going to put the oil squirters back in, which I'm not, here's the thing. So what the squirters are designed to do is, with factory blocks that come from Honda, they squirt oil up into the cylinder walls to keep things cooled down, lubricated. My first thought, because you're probably having this thought too, was, well, we'll just put them back in, because there can't be anything wrong with extra oil going all over the engine. To me, that just seems like common knowledge. But I've got here some Golden Eagle Manufacturing oil squirter plugs. Some of you may be thinking the same thing I thought. Well, that seems very counterintuitive. But there's a reason that these are manufactured. So naturally, I hopped on the forums and I went searching for why these are a thing. If you're running a built block with forged rods, forged pistons, then they don't require extra cooling. Hey there guys, Brandon from the future here, and while I was editing this video, I actually got in touch with 4Piston Racing. And so basically, as of editing this video, I spoke with them on Instagram and I was told by them that they keep the factory oil squirters in all of their engines that come with them. So the debate continues. But if you plan on running long endurance races where the engine is at high RPMs for long periods of time, then the oil squirters are a must-have. Just keep them in there. I'm going to use the plugs until further notice, as I don't plan on running any long, high RPM races with the car. For now, only street driving and drag strip visits. If in the future I decide to run endurance races, I'll simply pull the pan and install the oil squirters once again. The reason these exist in the K24A2 is because the K24A2 is more of a performance engine that Honda put into the TSX. The oil squirters are designed to cool down those factory rods and pistons because they are more susceptible to heat expansion. So the oil squirters shoot oil up into the cylinder walls to keep everything kind of the same temperature. Forged rods and forged pistons are much less susceptible to extreme heat expansion. Also, what these plugs can do is send more oil pressure to places like your bearings or your turbo feed, things like that. So there's a couple of different advantages to doing this. And when I posted on Facebook in one of the RSX DC5 forums, K20A.org, places like that, the general consensus from most everybody was plug them. And those were most of the answers I got, is because forged rods and forged pistons don't necessarily need to have the oil squirters. Some of the guys on there made good points as to why you should keep them. Like my original thought was, it can't be a bad idea to have more oil all over the bottom end. You know, I feel like you can't have too much. But then a few other things started popping up here and there, you know, as far as information is concerned, like the factory squirters can fail. They have a ball and a spring inside. Now, this is just what I've read. I don't know this for a fact. I even had a few people kind of question it. But from what I've read, it has a little ball and spring in there, and the squirters are only supposed to open up once the oil pump hits 25 PSI, because at that moment, and that makes sense to me, because at moments of higher oil pressures is when you're gonna be running the engine harder. You know, you're accelerating hard or racing or something like that. And so that's when the oil squirters would squirt oil up into the cylinder walls to help keep everything a normal temperature. Problem is that if they fail, they normally get stuck open, and it's basically just one big oil leak, so it's going to drop your PSI down. Now, some people also posted that that's not a problem. The general consensus that I read was that if you're going to be running a high performance engine with forged everything, block them off. The two final nails in the coffin for me for ordering these, well, one, they're not very expensive, but that's not part of it. But they're not, I mean, they're just block off plugs. I mean, they're just metal plugs. The first one is that if I were to have used any other K24, you can use a K24 Z something, I can't remember the number, or a K24A1 out of like a CRV, which I could have done this exact same build with a K24A1. Like, they're pretty much identical. I think one of the only biggest differences is that this plug that you're supposed to block off this oil passage with to keep the oil pressure up, I don't know if it's threaded or not, but you can tap threads in it. They're pretty much the same if you're gonna be building a block to a specific specification. But the kicker is that most of the other K24 blocks do not even have the oil squirter passageways cast into the block at all. They don't even exist. And so people build really high horsepower K24s out of those all the time. And they don't even have to worry about these. And so my thought was like, okay, that pretty much settles it. But the last nail in the coffin for me was I messaged the tuner that tuned my RSX, that it's still running on that tune today. Also the same guy that I purchased the K24 block from in the first place. And I just said, hey, are these a good idea? He had a couple of follow-up questions like, you know, what are you doing to it? A naturally aspirated build, things like that. And I told him everything that we're doing, everything that you guys already know. And he said, yeah, run them. That's all I needed. So today we're gonna be installing these. So I'm gonna put you guys on my head and we're gonna get that done. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and pop this package open. I just ordered these off eBay because that just seemed like the quickest, easiest place to get them from, and they actually did get here very quick. Here they are. I'm gonna pull out the toolkit and see what size they are. I'm not real sure. We're going to blow these holes out with compressed air, and we're also gonna grab some Loctite because, real quick, sorry to keep jumping around on you guys here. This says Golden Eagle Manufacturing oil squirter plugs, B series. B series and K series are exactly the same. Don't even worry about it. B series. Use Loctite, torque to 8 foot-pounds. Okay, two things. One, they don't tell you what Loctite to use, so I'm guessing you could use like red or blue or the purple or whatever. And the torquing to 8 foot-pounds, my torque wrench doesn't go that low. So I'm just going to use my good old God-given torque wrench here, and I'm gonna get them perfectly fine. I'm not even concerned about that. But as far as using Loctite is concerned, one may be inclined to use red Loctite. I think I'm just gonna use blue Loctite because for whatever reason, I may want to be able to get those back out one day. And I'm sure that these are, you know, super nice. They feel really good, but I'm just thinking like these are so small. If I were to put even just a little bit of red Loctite on here, I'm going to snap these off in the block, which, like I said, again, wouldn't be that big of a deal. I just think for this application, red Loctite just is probably a little bit overkill. That's my red. And let's see. Yep, Permatex thread locker blue. So I'm just gonna be using the blue stuff, and I don't think we're gonna have one problem out of it after that. A little bit smaller than a 10, maybe more of a standard size even, which is kind of crazy. 11/32, again, too small. And finally, 3/8, let's try that. 3/8 fits way better. That's what I'm gonna go with. We're going to grab my air hose here and blow those holes out with some compressed air. All right, and I'm just going to, I really don't know. I'm not good at judging this kind of stuff. I'm guessing we probably won't need much more than that. I mean, I want this to hit every thread. I may be completely screwing this up. I'm gonna be honest, I suck with Loctite. I mean, there's no super easy way. I should have taken the girdle off before I tackled this job, but here we are. Golly, there's not a lot of room. Why can't I have somebody helping me with like girly hands? All right, it's threading in there. Cool. I don't know if Loctite has like a cure time. I don't know if I'm supposed to just like barely thread it in and then wrench on it hard later. Let's see if this has instructions. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I'm out of my element with Loctite. I hate using it, honestly, on a lot of stuff. I mean, I know it has its uses and all that good stuff, but like, I'm always terrified to use it because no one ever seems to agree on Loctite. Like, oh, you're supposed to use this much and you're supposed to use it on this and you're supposed to not use it here. You can't use too much though, or you can use too much, just like I use too much RTV most of the time. All right, there that one goes. Cool. All right, last one. Golly, my hand just barely has enough room. So let's see, I'm gonna actually look up like how to properly use Loctite. I mean, like I said, I rarely use Loctite. I mean, it rarely comes up in any scenario that I put myself in. So let's just see. Okay, so according to Google, Loctite cures in 24 hours, but it sets up in 10 minutes. So yeah, it seems like we got plenty of time to work with this stuff. So I'm gonna start over here and I'm just gonna start cranking down on it. Obviously, I'm not gonna get too crazy. No issues threading in. And like the package says, 8 foot-pounds. I mean, I just don't have anything that can go that low. I feel like I've, you know, put together enough stuff to know what 8 foot-pounds of torque feels like. Hold the ratchet like this. You don't want to hold out here where you've got a ton of leverage. So I'm just going to hold it like this and just kind of crank down on it just a little bit. I'm actually starting to move the block. That's probably more like 10 or 12 foot-pounds, but here we are. Okay, feel good about that. Feel good about that. And I feel good about that. Cool. That's done, you guys. Block off plugs are installed. And so with that being done, I don't have to worry about these guys anymore. This is trash now. So guys, yeah, quick, simple little video, but I feel like it may help somebody out in the future, maybe making a decision on what they need to do in this scenario. So I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. If it helped you, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. That really, really, really helps me out, unlike you wouldn't believe. And so, yeah, if you were on the fence about putting in block off plugs like I am, you know, I probably question stuff more than I probably should, but I just like to be, you know, doubly sure about everything before I do anything. So anyway, Probably going to be finishing up some things and maybe getting the pistons in to the block sometime soon. Biggest thing holding us up there is I have this piston ring compressor, and I'm just not a huge fan of it. I mean, I'm sure it works fine. I don't know. I could throw the rings on. I want to make a video about that, obviously, but I want to throw the rings on and then, you know, just smash these into block, get the crankshaft shoved in here, all that good stuff. You know, I could get all that done in a day, no problem. It's just, I'm just not so sure about that piston ring compressor, and I don't want to hurt the rings in any way. So I'm trying to think about some better options that I may be able to get my hands on pretty quickly. So, you know, not too much longer. Real quick, you guys, I just wanted to throw this in here because I feel like it's pertinent to what we were discussing. This is the hole right here that you need to block off from the old K24 oil pump if you're swapping over to a K20 oil pump, which I highly recommend. It's this hole right here. This hole doesn't go to anything. I know they sell those plugs online where it, you know, it's got like a little rubber grommet right here, and it's like a plate that goes in here and you bolt it down here. But just real quick, to plug it, I wouldn't get one this long. This is the bolt that I'm using, but this is an M8 by 1.25 hex bolt. This is a 40 millimeter bolt. This is for something totally different, but these are pretty common threads right here. If this is a 40 millimeter bolt, that's length, then this one's probably like a 25 probably. This would probably honestly thread all the way in, but I'm not going to use that. Just put a little bit of Honda Bond on the threads, thread it in, and let this set up for about 25 minutes or so, and then torque it down, you know, pretty tight, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, a little bit of Honda Bond, thread it in there. And the reason I'm redoing mine, actually, I've already done this to mine, but I'm redoing it because when the block was at the machine shop and it got hot tanked, I didn't know if it was going to strip the Honda Bond off or not. So I'm just redoing it just for peace of mind. So, but yeah, just thread it into that hole right there. Get you a close-up of it, and you'll be good to go. So I'm gonna cut it off here, you guys. Remember, subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and have a great day.